Just before the original Kung Lao, Anthony Marquez, the Kung Fu rock star himself, joins me on the show here and we take an in-depth look at the new Mortal Kombat movie. I want to tip my bladed hat to Decky play-by-play and the original Razor for once again supplying outstanding MK background footage throughout this video. You're going to see them kick pixels out of one another all the way through the video here. I want to say a huge shout out and a huge thank you to both Decky play-by-play and original Razor. You can catch both of them on Instagram, and you can also catch Decky play-by-play's very regular streams on YouTube. He's on there quite often, kicking out streams. So please do. The information is down below.
Flirt FM, Galway's alternative radio station.
This is the Galway Gamer here on Flirt FM 101.3. My name is Owen Murphy and I am the Galway Gamer. And if you've been listening to the show so far, we have been having an in-depth conversation about Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, especially with Anthony Marquez, who's played, Anthony Marquez, my apologies, who plays Kung Lao in Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. Now, it's no secret that Mortal Kombat, the movie, the long-awaited, almost quarter of a century waiting, in fact, movie, just dropped over the last week or two, and it is Kung Lao's first big screen outing. So, Anthony, first of all, thanks for sticking around for this. This is the first time I think I've ever had anybody on for a double whammy like this. So, a 1-2 combo, I appreciate that. But how does it feel seeing this character that you had played such a big part of the evolution of this character? How does this feel to see him on the big screen blown up like this?
Oh my God, it was so exciting. It's so exciting to see, a character that you had a little bit of input in, help develop or whatever, that's been part of your life for, 25, 30 years now or whatever. To see that on the big screen, it was mind-blowing. And, I think the guy who plays Kung Lao, Max Huang, he's a great martial artist. He really comes across with the slightly arrogant Kung Lao attitude. I don't know where he got that from, but I love it. He comes across as very, very self-assured, slightly arrogant, and he just brings so much to the screen. I loved his performance.
There were a couple of characters in the movie that I thought were simply perfect, and I think Kung Lao was definitely one of them. I think his martial arts suited the video games perfectly, especially the later ones where, those martial arts get to they get to explore that side a little bit more. You have a lot more moves to play around with in the later games, and I thought that it really, really came across on the big screen. It felt like it came straight out of the video game, and his attitude, just like you said, that kind of cocky, slightly arrogant, I know I can take you down attitude, it was perfectly Kung Lao. I also think that when it comes to characters done right on the big screen, I think Kano was phenomenal.
Kano stole the show.
Stole the show.
So yes. Anytime, whether it's the movie, whether it's, just us at conventions or whatever, Kano, and that all stems from Rich DeVizio. Rich DeVizio is, he's a big personality. If you're ever around him, you'll see that, oh yeah, this is where Kano came from. So, and that's one of those things that I really enjoyed about saying this. You're watching this movie, and whether Kung Lao is swiping across the rim of the hat with his hand, he'll do that move, or whether Kano rips out the heart and Kano wins, or Scorpion is doing rope dart. You see all of these things that you and your friends helped create 30 years ago, by just screwing around, playing around on oh, how about if we do this? How about if we do that? Oh, this is a great idea. and then to see that manifested in a big budget movie,
Mm-hmm.
that was amazing. I turned to everybody on one. Oh my God, you know what? That happened. That happened because, Rich said, oh, what if we did something like, like something out of the Raiders of the Lost Ark, or, Temple of Doom, or something like that. And Danny's always, Danny's main weapon, or one of his primary weapons, is rope dart. And that's why Scorpion does rope dart. Or watching Kung Lao, he'll fight and then he'll swipe the rim of the hat with his hand. Oh my God, that was, you know why that happened? That happened because that was a movement that I came up with when we're filming, and now it's still 30 years on, and we're seeing it brought to the big screen. It was amazing.
Yeah, I can feel the excitement absolutely radiating off you here. It's fantastic. The martial arts within the movie itself, then, everything breaks down in the third act. Everything breaks down into a number of one-on-one fights. Were there any standout fights for you?
Okay, so really, like everybody else, the first fight with what would be Scorpion and Sub-Zero,
Hmm.
I thought that was amazing. I really had a lot of fun with the reptile fight. I just thought that was a lot of fun. It was just so funny. Obviously the Kung Lao action, I think Max is great. I can't say enough about him. But I thought he could do so much more.
Hmm.
He's a great martial artist. And, when I know what he can do. And so I don't even, maybe I'm biased, maybe I'm too close to the situation, but he can bring so much more to the screen, and I felt like he was being held back a little bit because he's so great. I wish they would have let him do more. And like you said, like, you could see him doing some Wing Chun in his fighting. You could see that his main style is Southern Fist. So especially, for me, like when he first appeared, he pops up and he lands in his single butterfly stance or whatever. These
Hmm.
are Southern Fist movements that he brought to the table, as opposed to the Northern Fist stuff that when you watch the original Kung Lao, in the video game, a lot of that stuff is Northern Fist. So it's all Chinese martial arts, but he brought a little bit of his own element, which would be a Southern martial arts fist, to that, or I brought more Northern Chinese martial arts fist to my interpretation. And then you could see him doing some Wing Chun in there. So all of that is beautiful. I loved it. I just wish that he could have done more.
I love when he is sparring with, I think he's sparring with Cole at one stage, and he just unloads a flurry of tiny punches to his chest, and you can hear each of these blows perfectly. Even though they're
Yeah,
just sparring, there's real impact behind it.
yes. So yes, I love that. Yeah, so those are the things that really stood out to me. But yeah, but especially where, fighting reptile and the whole Kano wins. I don't want to give away too much of that, as
Hmm.
people haven't seen the movie yet. But all of that stuff just really killed me.
And when we think about MK, the story had been told time and time again. The original Mortal Kombat story was told through the original games, again through MK9. It was told through the original comic books, the original movie, the Journey Begins animation, again lately in Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge. We've seen the original tournament play out time and time again. Do you think that removing that tournament aspect from the movie helped or hindered it?
So there's so much lore in Mortal Kombat. There's
Hmm.
so, there are multiple timelines. There's everything about Mortal Kombat. So to, maybe to streamline things or whatever, that's one thing. Focusing on before the tournament is another thing. And all of these things are creative decisions that, that are up to the people that are creating this movie. So that doesn't bother me so much. It is what truly bothered me is that I love the beginning. I love, watching Sub-Zero and Scorpion and seeing how, okay, so this is the beginning of, their rivalry or, the bad blood between them. And now you're, establishing you're establishing who the people are going to be in Mortal Kombat, with the dragon tattoos or whatever. But the second act really lost me. I felt that there wasn't, there may have been more to the movie, and it seemed like a lot of it was cut out or whatever. And so by the time you had, that big fight at the end of the second act that leads into the third act, it felt like there's no, I hate to say it, but there's no real motivation for anybody to be fighting. The story didn't hold up for me. So whether you go on with the tournament, go telling the story of the tournament, or you tell the story before the tournament, the story itself just doesn't really hold up that well to me. Maybe the way it was edited together or whatever. So that, those are my true thoughts.
That's fair. That is fair. I feel that the movie is hugely divisive throughout the Mortal Kombat community at the moment. Half think it's the best thing since the original film, and a lot of people think that it was junk. I personally am somewhere in between. I think that there are so many missed opportunities in this movie. There are so many great elements of Mortal Kombat that simply were kind of thrown to the sideline, and a lot of them were to do with the fact that they had to fit a new character, Cole Young, into Mortal Kombat's story. And personally, I think that kind of presented a large problem. What was your perception of Cole Young? Do you think he's a necessary evil, if you will?
I totally agree with that. Cole Young, they're using him as the audience. They can explain what Mortal Kombat is through Cole Young. Cole Young acts as the conduit for the audience. But Johnny Cage actually is that character, so
exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know why you need to create Cole Young where Johnny Cage is, oh yeah, you know what? I'm an actor, but in reality, I'm a real martial artist, and I would like to prove that I am a real martial artist. And then oh, you mean there's this Mortal Kombat tournament? Yeah, I'll go to that. And then you find out, oh, it's not just like fighting in the UFC or something like that. This is more, there's a whole world around this. And that's what Johnny Cage is. I don't know why you need to create a new character where you have an established character. You have, 60 or 90 characters in Mortal Kombat. And especially the one of the very core characters, Johnny Cage, is replaced by Cole Young. I don't understand that at all.
No, I'm totally with you on that. I totally am. It's something that has grated on me since it was announced, and I kind of hoped against hope that that he wouldn't be overused and he wouldn't be overpowered. And unfortunately, he wound up being both of those things. We knew more about Cole Young by the end of the movie than we did about any of the classic characters. We also saw him go toe-to-toe with more of the classic characters than we did with anybody else, which, again, kind of bugged me. And I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man here, don't get me wrong. And I think the guy who played Cole Young did so fantastically, but I just don't believe he was necessary, especially in a time when we've seen the likes of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for example, blow up over the last couple of years. And they come straight out of the comic books. They don't really change anything because they don't have to, because these characters can tell their own stories. I believe Mortal Kombat could also tell its own story without injecting outside influences like that.
I totally agree with you on that. Yeah. Again, there's so much lore. There's so much lore that, yeah, maybe you have to simplify it a little bit, streamline the story, whatever you have to do, but you don't have to, create a character for the audience to follow, because there's already that character and his name is Johnny Cage. Mm-hmm. So even if you wanted to go, the route with, Kano and Sonya Blade, they're also, if you want to use them as a conduit from, people from Earth who are, fighting, they have their own war or whatever, and that battle is, then pulled into this greater battle that's known as Mortal Kombat. It's still Earth, people from Earth, people that, you and me and everybody else, we could, this is our perception of everything, and we could follow them as they learn all about, the out and, the nether realm and everything else that you need to learn about Mortal Kombat. So again, yeah, I don't know why you create a new character. So.
So what was the overall perception then? Did you come out of the cinema entertained, disappointed, somewhere in between? What did you think of Mortal Kombat 2021?
Yeah, so again, the high points were the beginning of the movie, the entertaining fight with Reptile. I loved seeing Kung Lao. I wish they would have done more with him. And then the third act really left me a little bit hanging. So I wish, I liked it, but I wish some things were different. It's very much a middle of the road movie for me. There's, like you said, there's so many missed opportunities, which is sad because there's such a huge fan base, and everybody loves Mortal Kombat. The whole, you have, a huge fan base around the world, and, generations of fans. And for a movie that we've all been waiting for like, for over a quarter of a century now, to be this divisive, I think was a misstep. So, but I guess they're planning more movies. Hopefully, there's so many good elements about it. Hopefully, things could come together better in the next movie, where, the vast majority of the fans think, yeah, this is great. This is what I was looking for. As opposed to half the fans thinking, yeah, this is great, and the other half thinking, what are you doing? What did you do? What did you do to Mortal Kombat? So let's give them another shot, because, ultimately we're all fans of this stuff. So.
Well, I think we're definitely seeing eye to eye in that, and by the looks of the money that this movie is drawing in, I can see a sequel being greenlit in no time at all. And if so, if it does go ahead and we have a handful of Mortal Kombat movies and we get to explore all the different realms and we get to use characters like Natara for more than just fatality fodder, because unfortunately that is what happened to her there. Who would you like to see play Johnny Cage if he showed up?
Ooh, that's a good one. People have been talking about Ryan Reynolds, and I can see a lot of the snarkiness in Ryan Reynolds that, I could see in Johnny Cage. That would be different. So that would be funny. That would be, I could get behind Ryan Reynolds as Johnny Cage.
I definitely think it could work, and that would actually put him in 2 video game movies, because he was Pikachu there 2 or 3 years ago as well, and Detective Pikachu.
Yes, so Ryan Reynolds would be the king of video game movies.
All right. right, just to wrap things up then, Anthony, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to come on to Galway Gamer here on Flirt FM 101.3 today. Is there any way people can keep in touch with you and all your Kung Lao shenanigans?
Oh, sure. The best way to do that is on Instagram, Anthony Marquez _Kung _Lao. Anthony Marquez _Kung _Lao. You could also find me on Facebook. And Kung Fu Rockstar is available on on Amazon. Sorry about that. Kung Fu Rockstar is available on Amazon. Pick up a copy to learn more about, me, Danny, Hosung, Rich, Carlos, how we all trained together, how we all hung out together, and how this Mortal Kombat thing has been part of our lives or how we hung out much longer than just doing the Mortal Kombat stuff.
Excellent stuff, excellent stuff. Thank you so much for taking the time and indeed the double time to come on the show today. It's been an absolute blast, Anthony. Thank you.
I've had so much fun. Thank you for having me. Thank you for everything. This has been a blast.
An absolute blast. Thank you.
101.3 Flirt FM.